My name is Carolyn, and I talk to the spirit world. Travel with me to a dimension filled with love, light, and joyful surprises. Welcome to Carolyn's Psychic Playroom. Hi, everybody. Carolyn Wilkins here, and welcome to another hopefully fun-filled episode of Carolyn's Psychic Playroom. Today, as you have noticed, if you're in the Cambridge, Massachusetts area, you've noticed the amazing, warm, finally spring that is here. And I thought that perhaps I would open the show by talking a little bit about spring from the point of view of energetics and a little bit with the spiritual aspect. I think for most of us, after a long, dreary winter, spring feels like just an amazing, marvelous, wonderful event, and we enjoy the sun and we enjoy the flowers, and hopefully, if we don't have too many allergies, we can take a nice deep breath and feel some fresh air coming in. But also, I would like to encourage you to take advantage of the propulsive, positive, forward-moving energy of springtime as things rise up from the earth, to use this energy to clear away your own space, both physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So, this might be the time when it's one of these nice days like today to open all the windows in your house and allow the air to sweep through and clear out the stuffy, bad vibes that might have accumulated during the winter. This is a great time for spring cleaning, right? Maybe this week try to throw away at least one thing. For your own spiritual health, how about throwing away one habit? Releasing one habit could be a small thing, but this is a great time to use the fresh springing energy to give yourself a fresh start. And my last tip, try something new. Try something new. It can be the tiniest thing. Order something different at Starbucks next time, or take a slightly different route to work. Do whatever you need to do to just change things up a little bit, because spring is here and the opportunity to move forward should be utilized, right? So, speaking of moving forward, I'm going to look over here and try to get this going on my computer. But moving forward, what I would like to share with you is a wonderful interview. I went down to Berkeley College, where I work, and I had a great opportunity to connect with a colleague of mine. His name is Bob Lada, and he is an amazing practitioner of something called the Alexander Technique. This is a fabulous way to get healthy, to learn how to manage your body, how to sit better, walk better, move better, extend your life in an easy and flowing way. And without any further ado, I want to share this interview that I did with my friend Bob down in our office down at Berkeley. So here we go.
Hi, Carolyn.
Well, hi, Bob, and thanks so much for coming
It's my
to
pleasure.
play.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Carolyn's Psychic Playroom. And this is the amazing Bob Lada.
And this is the amazing Carolyn Wilkins.
Exactly. So, Bob, I know that you are an expert and a professor here at Berkeley College.
I am.
On the subject of the Alexander Technique.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that you could, in just a few brilliant words, explain a little bit to people who maybe have never heard of it before. What is it exactly?
Sure. I'll go over a couple of different things. In one sentence, it's how you do what you do and who you are when you do it. It makes a difference if I sit like this, if I sit like this, or if I sit like that. We call that difference use. How you use yourself as an instrument to perform your daily activities. Alexander technique was named after a guy. His name was F.M. Alexander. He lived from the late 1800s to the middle of the 1900s.
Okay.
He was from Australia, and he made his living reciting Shakespeare.
That's
Of
cool.
all things, yeah. And one day he was doing a gig, and he lost his voice. He had trouble with his voice. So what did he do? I mean, nobody really knows, but I'm going to say he went to the doctor. The doctor says, no problem, man. I got this syrup, twice a day, 2 weeks, rest your voice, you'll be fine. Alexander says, okay. 2 weeks go by, he's got another gig. First act goes great, he's really happy. Second act, he lost his voice again, right? So now he's mad, probably. Back to the doctor, and the doctor says, oh, okay. I'll give you the special stuff, but now it's going to be 3 times a day for 3 weeks this time, right? And really, really rest your voice. Okay, I can do that. He's got another gig coming up, and you can guess what happened. You know, he lost his voice again. So, besides being beside himself, he goes back to the doctors and asks what I feel was the world's best question. He says, Doc, what am I doing that's contributing to this?
There you go.
Right, and the doctor says, the way doctors do, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And so Alexander was a very driven guy. He studied himself in mirrors for more than a year. And what he found was this, and I'm just going to turn a profile to you, that when he went from his speaking voice to his acting voice, he did a thing that looked like that.
He changed
very
his
consistently.
spine.
He changed his relationship between his head and his spine. Now, here is where Alexander and I part company.
Okay.
He looked at this and said, I don't want that. I want my technique to be around getting rid of unwanted responses to stimuli and replacing them with something else. So he built a big methodology based on the word no, and you know, a lot of teachers use it. I look at this and I say, boy, there's a lot of stuff to like there. It got a little messed up at the end. Is there a way we can use this energy and transform it all? So I teach the same stuff, but from the word yes, rather than the word no, but it comes from the same observation. The second thing that Alexander discovered was that he could communicate his newfound knowledge by using his hands.
I see.
So Alexander teachers train typically for 3 years, and most of that is in using our hands. It's not like massage, right? Not like the chiropractor. It's almost as exciting as watching paint dry. It looks like this, right? You know, very quiet. And I'll demonstrate on you in a couple of minutes. To my mind, what we're trying to do is reacquaint you with patterns of movement that you had back when you were 3 years old, when you moved wonderfully.
In
And
your
so you
more
can't-
natural way.
Exactly.
So would I be correct in kind of summarizing it as saying it's a method for teaching us to return to a more natural way of expressing with our body?
I think so, yeah. I think that's
Things.
very fair. The natural is a funny word for that because a lot of, while I agree with what you're saying, a lot of people say natural when they mean familiar.
Okay,
Right?
all right.
And this is to return to a more unfettered
There you go.
way of moving.
As we were
less
as children.
As we were when we were children, yeah.
So I'm gonna
But in a
ask
more
you-
mature body.
I'm gonna ask
Yeah.
you, how on earth did you get into doing this? Have you been doing it for a long time?
Oh, well, yeah, more than 30 years. More than 30
Okay.
years. I hurt my back playing volleyball. I
Okay.
partially tore a ligament back in here.
Okay.
And eventually I was referred to the guy who trained me. And, you know, I just really liked it as a protocol, so I've sort of stuck with it ever since, you know, and I've taught close to 30 years now.
That is fabulous.
I like it.
So can you, in our last couple of minutes here, can you show us just the tiniest little sample
Sure.
of what it would be like? I'm super curious.
Okay, well, we can do this. And one of the things that I'm going to do here, Carolyn, much of how we move, much of how we move is based on what we conceive is possible.
Okay.
We won't make an inconceivable movement unless it's really a life-threatening situation. You know,
Okay.
like the father who lifts the car
Right.
off the pavement because his kid's underneath, right? All right, so I want to ask you a question about conception, right?
Okay.
And then we'll see. For you, Carolyn, you know you have a head.
Right,
Excellent. You know you have a spine,
correct.
and they meet somewhere.
Right.
Point to where you feel like that place is.
There.
Okay, so that's a fairly typical place to show. And here's what you just showed me. Right?
Okay.
If this was a spine and this was a head, they're
Right.
connected like this.
Right.
And if they were, I mean, your head would fall off.
Oh my gosh, so
All right?
it would.
It would.
Yes.
And you're nobody's fool.
Right.
You don't want your head to fall off,
No,
so
I
you'll
do not.
probably grab onto it with musculature that is back here
Ah.
that gets tired.
Okay.
When it gets tired,
That
it
makes
starts to
sense.
hurt, right?
That
So I'm
makes
going to do
sense.
the little hands thing right now.
Okay.
It turns out,
Great.
because you were nodding yes so wonderfully there, that when you nod yes, the place you pivot is more in between your ears than way back here in the back.
Interesting.
And if you go less and less and less, you'll notice that when your nose goes down, the back of your head goes up. Your nose goes up, the back of your head goes down. So something is always moving upwards.
Nice.
And yeah, and then you'll feel less pressure through here, and it's easier.
Gosh, and just from that small thing,
Yeah.
I feel different.
Yeah.
And I feel that I'm sitting, I hope you can see it on the camera because I do. I feel that I'm sitting more comfortably and that
Yeah.
I'm somehow in a weird way more balanced.
Oh, I think
Than I was
it's, you hit on
before.
a wonderful word there. There's always a dynamic going on between holding and balance.
Nice.
Holding and balance.
Yes.
And we slide,
Right.
along that spectrum.
Nice.
But if we can go towards balance and also be moving up, which isn't lifting up, right, but it's a balanced moving up into the world, then things are really easy.
Bob, thank you so much. So, is this something, just to quickly summarize, is this something that you would say, even if you're not an athlete or a dancer or a musician,
Right.
even if you're just kind of a regular person, that this could be of great use
Oh,
in terms
absolutely.
of learning how to take care of your energy and take care of your
Absolutely,
physicality?
absolutely. If you look at it from the point of view of efficiency, you will use less energy during the course of the day and be less wiped out by the time nighttime comes around, and that goes for everyone, even brushing your teeth.
Awesome. Bob Lada, the amazing Bob Lada,
The amazing
Alexander
Carolyn Wilkins.
Maven. I'm going to give you in the next segment a little more information about how you can find out more about Alexander technique. Thank you so much, Bob.
Thank you, Carol.
That was fabulous.
Okay, bye-bye then.
Bob is a world-class expert in this subject, and I'm sure that he would love to hear from you. You can Google Bob. It's Bob Lada, L-A-D-A. And you can also Google Alexander technique to find out more. And of course, you can write me at the Psychic Playroom at gmail.com. As you know, this is the Psychic Playroom. This is the opportunity for you to play here and for us to play together around questions of a psychic nature. And I've been asking people to either call in, and here's the number right here, to call in if you have a question for me, or to write in to my email address at psychicplayroom@gmail.com. So, this week in the mailbag, I got a couple of queries from people, and so I'm going to go ahead and answer their questions. And to preserve the privacy of the individuals, I just use initials. So you know, if you ever write in, that's how I'm going to do it for you, and I would never ever embarrass anyone on the air. So just know that as well. So for the mailbag, my first question came from AC. And he said, "Hi, Carolyn. I'm curious to know which of the creative paths I'm currently considering will be most rewarding financially and spiritually." So, which creative path? So, to answer the questions today, since we only have a short amount of time, I'm going to use my trusty tarot deck here. This is the Akashic Records Tarot. It's a lovely deck full of beautiful pictures. And as I kind of shuffle through the deck, which I think if I do it out here, you will actually be able to see, right? I'm going to just kind of spread out the cards, shuffle them up a little bit, and then I'm going to, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking, what does AC, what does AC most need to know regarding his question? So I'm just going to ask the cards to talk, and what they do actually is they are a trigger for my creative and psychic insights. So let's see. Without further ado, I'm going to pick 2 cards for AC. What does AC need to know about his creative path? And the first card is the 2 of Keys. This is, let me see whether this will allow you, there you go, now you can see it a little bit better. This is the card that I have pulled for AC regarding his question, and that card is the 2 of Keys. So let's take a look at the card here. You will see we have a man who appears to be kind of sad. His house looks like it's been broken into, things are spilling out, but behind him, he is unaware of a treasure that is right there. See the light shining? A treasure of which he is unaware. So to extrapolate on this card, AC, here is my thought for you. I think that there are things going on currently and gifts that you have. I'm going to put the card down now. Gifts that you have not fully given yourself credit for. There are opportunities that are coming for you that you have not fully credited. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you were looking for something and you were looking all over for it, and there it was right in front of you. I think that the answer to your question is like that. I think that the thing that feels the most comfortable and the most fun and almost so ridiculously easy that it's barely work at all, or it doesn't seem like it could possibly yield a magical result. That is the thing. It's the treasure that is hidden in plain sight in your life. And I would say that when you are considering among many alternatives, I would suggest that you look at the route that is absolutely the easiest, almost So easy, it's a no-brainer. It's something that perhaps someone has already spoken to you about. There may be a job possibility that someone has already mentioned to you, and that you kind of thought, oh, that's really, it's too easy, it's too simple, that can't possibly be it. This is the one for you, the one that is the easiest, the one that is the most natural, the treasure hidden in plain sight. And I think if you go back and you look at your life and the various alternatives that you're looking at, it will be easy for you to identify which one this is. And I think that you have, in fact, discounted it because it appeared to be too easy. So, AC, I hope that this answer is helpful for you. And so, yeah, that's my 5-minute pronouncement on that. So, we also have another question. I got 2 questions in the mailbag this month. My second question is from TB, and he writes, "Hi Carolyn, I haven't been feeling great about my love life and finding the right person for me. Will I ever find the perfect person?" Now, I can completely feel you on that, TB. I'm sure many people go through this. We've all gone through it at some time or another. It certainly is a valid question, and one that I think I may be able to give you some insight. So once again, as you see, I have the cards here, and I'm gonna just kind of shuffle them a little bit. And as I'm doing that, I'm going to be thinking about TB's question. What does TB need to know? What is the most important thing that this person needs to know about meeting the right person and making a shift in their love life? So I'm sort of shuffling here, as you can see. I'm gonna spread them out a little bit and shuffle them just a little bit more. And I will say to you also, when you're doing cards, in case you do card readings of your own, it's a very good way to ask the question instead of yes or no, or is it this person or is it that person. It's better to ask a more open-ended question. In this case, what do I need to know about ... So, what does TB need to know? I'm shuffling, and now I'm spreading out the cards. And let me see here. Oh my gosh. Look what came out. The lightning bolt. The lightning bolt. And you know what this reminds me of? I don't know how many of you are old enough to remember there used to be a song that went lightning striking again, and it was in regard to falling in love. What this feels like to me, as you can see from the card, it's an amazing streak of lightning coming down and igniting a flame. Very vivid, very powerful, and very immediate. So I would say to you, TB, that it doesn't seem that it will be too long before you are going to experience a sudden change in your current circumstances. And I think, looking at the card and the fact that that wacky song, which I have not thought of in probably 45 years, that song should pop into my mind right now, says to me that you are soon to meet a person with whom you will feel compatible and a person with whom you can share. And I would say to you that once again, as I discussed with AC's question. Sometimes it is, what can I call it? A treasure hidden in plain sight. It may be a person, TB, that you have been walking past every day and not really paying that much attention to. It may be a person that you just bump into that you never thought of in this context, and that suddenly something is going to open. What I will say is it feels very clear that whoever this person is, the relationship will be intense, it will be powerful, and it's going to hit you all at once. This is not going to be the kind of thing where you're going to be going, is this love? Is it not love? Is it? No. When it comes, it's going to come all at once. It's going to hit you like a bolt of lightning, and it's going to be beautiful. So, those are my answers to the mailbag questions for this month. I hope you've enjoyed them, and I hope, having watched them, that you will feel emboldened to write me with a question of your own. You can either call into the show, and there's the number there. We don't have time to take any more calls today, but you can certainly call in when I come back next month, which will be on the second Thursday in June at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Or you can write me at Carolyn's, don't write me there. Write me psychicplayroom@gmail.com. And I have really enjoyed this time with you. I have enjoyed hanging with you and having fun, and I can't wait to connect with you in future for future shows. So please write me, and once again, Alexander Technique with Bob Lada. If you're interested in that, please write me, and I will show the full interview next month. And I apologize because I know it was good. All right, for now, this is it for Carolyn's Psychic Playroom. I will see you next month, same time, same place. Bye for now.
Thoughts are things with the energy to make life better for you and for me. Touch the light. Oh, touch the light.